This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Kindness. We see it all around us. We see it when someone pays for someone else's coffee or holds the door open for another person. We see it in the smallest of gestures, like a smile or a kind word. But it's different when we turn on the news or social media. Oftentimes, what we hear about, what outlets are pushing, is the opposite of kind. Welcome to the Kindness Matters podcast. Our goal is to give you a place to relax, to revel in stories of people who have received or given kindness, a place to inspire and motivate each and every one of us to practice kindness every day. Hey there, hello and welcome to the Kindness Matters podcast. I am your host, Mike Rathbun. Got a fantastic show for you today, as always. And as you may have noticed when you tuned in, I belong to the Deluxe Edition Network, and they have a podcast of the month. And this month, the podcast of the month is The Real Drunks. The Real Drunks is a movie companion podcast. Join Matt, Jake, and their guests as they watch and discuss their favorite movies, along with other random off-the-wall topics. Enjoy as things go off the rails often. Also, make sure to check out the show notes, where you'll find links and discount codes for two companies I've partnered with: Sunday Scaries, a company that makes broad-spectrum CBD gummies, and Coffee Bros, that make an amazing blend of coffees and also have coffee-related products. I use both of these products, and they are nothing short of amazing. Now, let's get into the show. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is going to be such... I know I say this every time. This is going to be such a great show, but it is. It is. Trust me. My guest today is a successful business owner, mentor, devoted mother to two young children, ages 3 and 1. She masterfully balances the demands of motherhood and her thriving 6-figure business, showcasing how professional and personal life can coexist harmoniously. And she also instills the importance of kindness, it's in the name of the show, and demonstrates how taking time from our busy lives to connect with others can have a profound impact. Welcome to the show, Sarah Reyes from beautiful Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia.
We're actually the Sunshine Coast, but very close.
Dang it.
Very close.
I have all the time in the world to research this, and Sunshine Coast. Oh boy, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Welcome to the show. And this is so important because Sarah and I were talking about this, and she does something amazing, and I'll let her talk to you about it. But it's been kind of a topic of mine before about how loneliness for older people, older than me even, is such a horrible thing, and how we can change some of that to the betterment of both the elderly and our kids, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about what you do with your kids every week.
Sure. Every week. So because of having my own business, I have the flexibility for my kids. Please excuse my voice as well. It's just flu season here. But because of the flexibility of having my own business, I decided to, when we moved to the Sunshine Coast, nearly 2 years ago now, I decided to make sure that my kids had Fridays off before they start to go to school, so that we could really spend some special time together. Every Friday morning for 1 hour, we visit one of the local retirement villages. And the reason why I chose this is because there was a really special show that was created on Netflix in Australia. I think it was aired in Australia. It must have been even filmed somewhere else, but they took time to take 3-year-olds to an old people's home. And the difference it made, I was sobbing throughout the Netflix series because I thought it was just so special. I was pregnant at the time and I thought, wow, I would love to do that with my children. So when my daughter grew up a little bit, because of all the COVID restrictions, it was a little bit impossible at the start. But now that it's all eased, we started 2 years ago, and it has honestly, I know it brings light to me as a mum watching my kids interact with the residents, but the impact that it's made on the residents in particular, a lot of them have dementia, but they remember our names every single week. And they raise their hands in the air when we walk in and they say, hello, Sarah. Hello, Mila. Hi, Levi. And they remember our names every single week. And a lot of the time they come up to us and they say, this is my favorite part of the week. So just a simple 1 hour from my busy schedule makes such a difference for them. And I know my kids speak about it at daycare. They say, are we going to go see the old people tomorrow? And I say, yes, we are. So it makes a huge difference on not only me as their mum, but the residents. But I know that my kids really look forward to it, and they've made really special relationships with the residents there.
Yeah, that is so cool. That is such a cool thing to do. You didn't have to do that, but you did. And really it does. It's such an important thing. Because a lot of times, older people tend to be isolated.
Yes.
And maybe they don't have family around, maybe whatever the case may be. And I was reading, hang on here, about the health risks of loneliness. Well, first of all, there was a stat. 1/4 of adults aged 65 and older are considered to be socially isolated. And the health risks from that, social isolation significantly increased a person's risk of premature death from all causes. And it's a risk that may rival those of smoking, obesity, and physical inactivity. So, I mean, you're doing your part. It's so great. Was it just the TV show that sparked that?
So
Or
I really miss my grandparents in particular. They have passed away, and my kids do have my parents and my husband's parents in their lives. But
that's
because
nice.
we're on the Sunshine Coast, my family is in Brisbane and his family is in the Gold Coast and New Zealand. So they're not really super close to us, but they have very strong relationships with them. But because of not having them around very easily, I thought it would be nice. And honestly, the relationships we've made, it feels like an extension of family there because they go there, the kids give them a cuddle every day. Yes, my kids have a few favorites there. So they run up and give them a big cuddle, and it's so special. So I think it's also nice for me. I go and sit there, and because I've created a bit of a mums and bubs group that join us. So we've tried to get to join as well. It's nice for me to interact with other mums. The kids get a bit of a play, and then the residents watch them all play together, which is really lovely.
Yeah. So can you name the favorites?
So there was.
They probably don't listen to this podcast, so it's okay.
That's okay. So there's one in particular, Jody, who is there, and my little girl and even my little boy both run. They if she hasn't come out, we go to her room and we say, "Come on, Jody," and she walks out nice with us. And there was one man, Tony, who was very, very special. He unfortunately passed away 8 weeks ago, which was very sad for us. But my daughter knows that he's up in the sky. He was a doctor, and he's up in the sky looking after everybody up there now because they need to be looked after.
I never actually even thought about that, but visiting these older people, there's that risk that yes, they're going to pass, and I mean that's an opportunity. I think that's a learning opportunity for the kids, right? So that's I just it's so cool because. And do you go to the same facility every week?
We do. So we've been going there for, nearly 2 years, the same one. So that's why it's been nice because we've had relationships with them. They've watched my little boy grow up since he was a newborn baby. So him in particular, but now my daughter is due to go to school next year. So we can visit on other days. We'll try and visit on other days next year and just pop in with just us, because I'd like to keep that relationship going. But I think with the COVID restrictions, it was really hard. But luckily that was a local retirement home, and they said, yeah, come along. So I was the one that just did the safety checks, and I'm the supervisor, I suppose, for the group. So yeah, it's so special, and I really hope to continue it, because I think the relationships that we've made, they'll be lifelong.
Oh, I'm sure, but yeah. Now, that was, okay, yeah, COVID. I know here in the States, like pretty much senior facilities were shut down. Nobody in or out except for staff, basically.
Yes.
Was it the same there?
Yes, it was. And so they still do have some COVID cases. So there was, I think about a month or two ago, there were quite a few COVID cases. So we weren't able to go for a little while. But a lot of the residents recovered well, so that was great. But if there are any restrictions, sometimes I just have to wear a mask, but then the kids are fine. So
okay,
yeah, pretty good now.
And I there was something else here that I did my research on older people and children, but apparently not on Australia. So there's an opportunity to teach kids empathy by visiting with older people, because they see, the kids will see that their older friends maybe don't move very well or have restrictions in their abilities and stuff. And immediately kids want to take care of them. How about that? Yeah. And we will be right back with my conversation with Sarah Reyes right after these quick messages from another Deluxe Edition Network podcast. Take it away, chicks.
Hey there, it's the Barrel Age Chicks. I'm Sammy.
I'm Snow.
I'm Crystal, often called Mouse, and I'm here too.
Yay! And then we also have Yen and Harley, who sadly are not with us, but that's okay. We're here to talk to you about our podcast.
Woo!
Tune in, because it's a lot of fun, and you get to hear the chick side of things.
You're gonna BS about movies and drinking and life and momming.
Lots
and we're
of laughing. Lots of laughing.
I laugh, but it's great.
Yes.
We have finished our first season.
And we're starting our second season.
Woo!
Good Lord.
2024, here we come.
I know, enjoy it. Join us on all of the platforms.
Hear them talk and me listen.
You talk.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook.
Pretty much anywhere you can hear voices on a phone.
And yeah, so give us a follow, check us out.
Watch us give Ron aneurysms.
This is the best part.
And thanks for listening. We will talk to you soon.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to read it. So that being able to see the older generation in a place where they are fragile or lacking abilities is something that pushes children to feel more empathy for others. So this will carry over into their relationships at school. They'll have that empathy built in.
Yes.
I think that's important. That's cool.
It is. And I think like when we go, sometimes my daughter will say, hey, Mum, can we take some chocolates for them? Or can we take something to give to them? And I always say yes. Like we'll stop into the shops and we'll grab something to share. Or we made a cake one week and we took that in and shared it for morning tea. So I think it definitely, and this is coming from a 3-year-old who comes up with these ideas. Hey, can we go and do this? So I can see it definitely does bring some ideas to her little brain as well. And even when, like some weeks, if there's one of the residents, if they've got a cough or something, my daughter will say, Mummy, is she okay? And so you can definitely see
it's working. Yeah.
Yeah.
The wheels are turning. She understands.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so great. Tell me a story, if you can, tell me more about Josie.
Jody, yeah.
Jody, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So Jody she lives in the residence with her husband. So she has been there for I think quite a few years. She has a lot of family, but I think they're actually they're not close to the retirement home, so they don't get visitors as often as I suppose they would like. So
Sure.
every Friday she gets up early, gets ready, and walks out, and she's probably one of the first to be sitting out there ready to wait for us to walk in. So she is honestly, she's beautiful. She's very, very special. She reminds me a little bit of my grandma, so my mum's
Okay.
mum, my nana, because she's just really, really just a gentle, soft little old lady, and she's so sweet. Her husband the other week had to go into hospital for some sort of surgery. And when she walked out, I gave her a big cuddle like I always do, and then the kids do. And I said, "How are you today?" And she just broke down and she said, "I'm really worried." And I said, "What's that?" And then she told me, "Husband's going in for surgery and I just hope he's okay." And she said, she leant over to me and she gave me another tight squeeze of a cuddle and she said, "I'm so glad it's Friday because at least I get to see you guys." And she just cried on my shoulder and it was so sweet. And it was just really lovely to be able to be there for somebody else. So that was really special for me. And I
Yeah.
know that my daughter just grabbed her leg as well while she was crying and just cuddled her. So it was
Oh,
really special.
yeah. Yeah, and it's so important because a lot of these people that sounds really harsh and crass, and I apologize, I didn't choose my a lot of these residents, okay? Residents, is that it? That works.
Yeah.
Um, they probably don't have, well, obviously they don't have family. You guys are probably the closest thing to family they have right there.
Yeah. And even like, so last Christmas, the manager of the facility, so she decided to get two Christmas presents and wrap them up, and the residents gave them to my kids. So my little boy got a little bike to ride on, like a little plastic bike, and my daughter got a pram with a baby. And so
Oh,
when the residents got to give them to the kids and they unwrapped them, and then I actually got a fridge magnet made with our family photo with Santa, and I wrote "Merry Christmas from the Reyes family," and it had a picture of all of us, and every resident got a little magnet to put on their fridge in their room. So my daughter and my little boy walked around the room giving every single resident a magnet. So it was something like that as well. And I know that even just seeing our little faces in their room when they're a little bit upset, I just thought that could be quite nice. Or if they're feeling alone, at least they know that we are there and we'll be there on Friday.
and you'll
So
be
that
there
was
on Friday.
probably, yeah, that was probably another really a special little thing that we did for them too.
That's so cool. I marvel that even though some of them have dementia, they still remember you guys.
It's incredible. And even so Tony, the gentleman that we were very close with, I when we first started, my daughter was walking around asking what all of the residents did so that she knew what they did when they were younger, what they did for,
Oh, okay.
because she had a little phase where she was really obsessed with doctors, and he was a doctor. So some of the staff at the facility said, "Oh, I don't think he'll join in with the mums and bubs group because he likes to just do his own thing." But every single Friday, you would see him walk out of his room and he would just sit in the corner, but he would still be facing us. And every time we walked out of the lift, he would go, "Hello, Mila," and wave his hands in the air, even if he was just sitting down. And she would run across the room straight to him and give him a cuddle and say, "Hey, Tony." And she would bring her little toy doctor's bag and play doctors with him.
Oh,
So it
fun.
was super, super special. And so even just simple things like that, it's honestly, even thinking about him, and I know he's gone now, but she still talks about him, and I think it's just been such an amazing thing that we've done.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and I can't believe that I'm just so grateful for people like you guys, you and Mila and Levi, and the positive difference that you're making in your world and in the lives of all those senior people. And I kudos to you guys. You're making the world a better place, Sarah.
I would love to try and get the daycares or the schools involved with doing something like that, so that it would be like it'd be more like not a subject, but something that they do constantly within schools or daycares, so that it's not just one facility getting that benefit. I feel like all facilities need to have something like this in place, because I know it changes the health problems that they've got, because these residents, a lot of the time they're sitting down. They try and stand up, they walk around with the kids, or they kick the ball while they're sitting in their seat. They've got massive smiles on their faces, playing instruments with the kids while they're sitting there and singing songs, watching the TV while my daughter or my son is dancing, and they're dancing in their seats. It's such a simple thing, and I think it should be really like a compulsory thing with schools and daycares working with these retirement homes.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's, I don't know how the school system works down there, but do you have a school board?
Yeah.
Somebody that would approve that?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a work in progress, but it's going to be a goal of mine, because I think it's really important.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, how many senior facilities are in your area? Are there quite a few?
So many, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, us boomers are kind of getting that way, aren't we? We're everywhere. So that is the best dream. I think that's the best goal, and I absolutely love it. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time with me, Sarah. I really do appreciate it. So much love for you and Mila and Levi, and you guys keep making the world a better place.
Thank you so much.
You're doing a great job. Thank you for coming on with me, and thank you for spending some time with me.
Thank you. It was really lovely having a chat, and I hope more people try and do what we're doing as well, because I know it makes such a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference. You're absolutely right. We will talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Was that fun or what? That was such an awesome conversation. Thank you to Sarah Reyes and her kids. Well, I realize the kids weren't on the show, but what a great idea. You know, if you have an extra hour one day a week, I'm sure most of us do, why not use it to make somebody's life a little better? Make an elderly person feel a little less lonely. And if you have kids and you can bring them, then that's all the better, because they get to see some amazing things and they get to hear some stories. And that's one thing about us old people. We know how to tell a story, right? But yeah, such a great idea. I'm really motivated by my conversation with Sarah. I hope that you took something away from this episode as well, and you feel lighter after listening to it. I appreciate every one of you that take 30 minutes or so out of your day to listen to this show, and I hope every week that I provide content that makes you feel a little better, makes you feel a little lighter, and maybe motivates you and inspires you to reach out to your fellow man, woman, person, and treat them a little kinder, because that's what we need more of in this world, right? That will do it for this episode of the Kindness Matters podcast. I will be back again next week with another episode, but until then, say it with me. You know it by now. You know it by heart. Be that person who roots for others, who tells a stranger they look amazing, and encourages others to believe in themselves and their dreams. You have been listening to the Kindness Matters podcast. Find us on all of your social media platforms and follow us, please. Until next week, I am your host, Mike Rathman. Have a fantastic week.